Hey, what's happening? This is Jerry here with Wealth Dynamics. I hope you're doing fantastic today. I want to come at you this morning for another time, second time this morning, because I had something on my mind. I was thinking about something that I used to do to stay accountable, and I want to offer this to you. If you're a client of mine and you're like, man, Jerry, I need more accountability, this is what I'm going to offer to you. And if you're not a client of mine and you're like, hey, maybe I'm not your coach right now, maybe you're not working with us, but you'd like more accountability, I'm going to offer this to you as well, okay? So, back in the day, this was probably 3 or 4 years ago, I used to have trouble doing things I said I wanted to do. I'd be like, man, I want to make more calls so I can make money, but I wouldn't do it. Or I'd be like, man, I want to go to the gym so that I can feel better and be in shape, but then I wouldn't do it. Or I want to wake up at a certain time because I know that that's how much I need to get all the stuff done, and then I wouldn't do it. And I was working with a coach at the time. Okay, and this was probably the one thing I learned from that coach that was worth all the money I paid him. So my coach at the time said, all right, here's what you're going to do. Now, he was coached by a billionaire. Okay, he was coached by a billionaire real estate guy named Gary Keller. And so during his coaching, he had this same kind of accountability agreement. It wasn't even enforced. It was an agreement offered to him. So the goal was I needed to make a certain amount of sales every week, right? And so I told him, I was like, hey, I'm trying to hit this target. I really want to do it. For some reason, though, I'm not getting on the phone. Things aren't happening for me. I'm not working like the way I should be. What's going on? And he said, well, you're not motivated yet. And I was like, of course I just read a book about motivation. Like, I'm the most motivated person out there. He's like, no, you would be doing it if you were motivated. So he's like, Jerry, here's what I want you to do. How much money right now is a lot for you? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, if you had to stroke a check, how much money would make you financially worried? And I was like, right now, $1,000. He's like, okay, here's what you're going to do. If you want me to be your coach, and if you want me to hold you accountable, here's what I'm going to do. I want you to write 5 checks, each for $1,000. I want you to make them out to organizations that you hate. Organizations you do not like. Each check is for $1,000, and you're going to write 5 of them. 5 organizations that you have disdain for. You would never give them money. And I was like, okay. He's like, now I want you to sign them. Leave the date blank, but I want you to sign them. And in the memo, I want you to write your goal down. And I was like, all right. He's like, then I want you to mail them to me. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, I want you to mail me the checks. You're going to mail me those checks today. And here's what we're going to do. You have 3 strikes. You're going to do your calls like you said you would. You're going to do all of the stuff you told me you wanted to do. You can mess up once, nothing will happen. You can mess up twice, nothing will happen. Things happen, right? Sometimes it doesn't work out. You can mess up 3 times, but on the 3rd time, I'm going to mail one of the checks. And I felt my gut come up to my throat. And I was like, you're going to mail, like, that's $1,000, dude. You're going to mail $1,000 check? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to mail one of the checks. I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to tell you. You know. If you agree to this, you already know that it's going to happen. I'm going to mail one of the checks. So I did it. I wrote 5 checks for $1,000. One of them, I can't remember all of them. One of them was to, like, the U.S. Treasury. I think the other one was to Planned Parenthood. Like, organizations I don't support, right? Psychiatric was another one. I forget all of them. But there were organizations that I would never willingly give money to. And so I mailed them to him, and what happened was I missed my calls the next day. I didn't hit my target, and he was like, hey, that's strike 1. And all it took was that. I realized that he was serious and he would mail the check. And after that, I did not miss my call again. I did not miss my sales again. Like, that clicked for me. When I realized this stakes are high, I don't have time to screw up, and it's going to cost me something that I can't pay right now. Like, that's when I realized I have to follow through. So guys, I want to offer the same type of accountability to you, whether you're a client of mine or whether you're not a client of mine today. If you have a goal, now keep in mind, my goal for you is to provide financial literacy so that you can achieve purpose, wealth, and freedom in your life and own your potential. So if it's related to that area, and you have a goal and you haven't been following through and you haven't been doing what you said you would do, I'm going to make you the same offer. I will hold you accountable. I won't charge you anything for this. I will hold you accountable, But what you're going to do is you're going to write me 5 checks, each for a sum of money that you almost can't afford right now. Like if you had to pay that money, you would be terrified. You're going to make them out to 5 organizations that you absolutely hate. You're going to sign them and leave the date blank, and you're going to mail the checks to me. And then you're going to text me and let me know how you're doing. Right here on direct messenger, you can hook up with my team. We're all over the place. And if you miss the 3rd one, I'll mail the check. And I guarantee you, if you're serious about your goals, this will motivate the hell out of you. Now, if you're like being reasonable, like, I can't afford that, that's way too much money. Or what if you steal it? Like, that means you don't actually want the goal. It's cute, it's awesome to say you're motivated, it's great to go to conferences and read books. I know that's a culture now, there's not actually any production behind it. If that's you, you're going to say whatever you're going to say about why you can't do it. So if you're interested in this type of accountability, this is the only type of accountability I will offer, by the way. If you're a client of mine and you're like, hey, I want to be training and I'm not, we're doing the 5 checks game. If you're a client of mine and you're like, man, I want to be doing more calls, we're going to do the 5 checks game. If you're a client of mine and you're like, man, I want to be saving more money every month and I need to increase my income, we're doing the 5 checks game. I'm not going to talk to you about how you need to do better and you need to, be more disciplined. Like, the conversation will be, what are the 5 companies and how much money do you want each check to be? Right off the bat. So guys, I hope that inspires you. When I first learned it, it inspired me and it changed my life forever. So I want to offer this to you as a service that I won't charge for. Now, if you mess up, you will pay. You won't pay me. You're going to pay 5 companies you can't stand. So guys, like, share, and subscribe. If you're interested in doing this, reach out to my team. We're glad to help. Have a fantastic Friday, and I'll talk to you soon.